Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to our Cavs Insider postgame show. We are live on our YouTube channel. We're also with you on our social media channels as well, and certainly hope you'll follow us along the way. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you don't mind. That's how you can best support the show and our coverage of Cleveland Cavaliers basketball. And follow us on social media at CavsInsider_FN. I'm Brendan Gulick, live from Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. We just recently wrapped up. I know the game ended at 9:20, and as we shoot this live, that's about an hour and 20 minutes ago. But we had a longer wait than normal tonight in the press conference. We did talk with JB Bickerstaff and eventually did have a chance to hear from both Caris, LeVert, and from Darius Garland. So just a quick recap of the night and what we heard here at the end of the night. Obviously, a bit of a frustrating night in the first quarter for sure for the Cavs, who ultimately lost to Philadelphia for the second consecutive time here in the preseason. Final score tonight was 113-97. I thought the Cavs kind of had a sloppy first quarter, but from that point forward, generally played much better basketball. They were without Kevin Love tonight, who was dealing with a minor injury. He banged knees with somebody in practice this week. If tonight were a real game, it sounds like Kevin Love would have been healthy enough to be able to go, but there's just no reason to push somebody that's already got a lot of miles underneath him anyways. So the goal is to get Kevin Love ready for the regular season starting here in, I guess, just about a week and a half at this point. In the meantime, Coach Bickerstaff after the game, I think, biggest takeaways from him, he thought Caris LeVert played really, really good defense tonight, was very happy with what he saw from him. He said that the team is focused right now on trying to figure out exactly how they can best let Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell work together. Want to find, the opportunities for them to have the right kind of balance. He talked about how both players were almost a little too selfless at times in trying to let the other one do their thing. And he said, it might take a few games here and there, but the expectation's obviously that this is going to work pretty well. So hopefully we'll see that here soon. But in the meantime, he said there were definitely some good moments for them. Obviously, the big alley-oop that got this entire arena on its feet was the biggest highlight of the night. That was really fun. I asked him specifically about turnovers because obviously there were some frustrating moments with that perspective tonight. He said, look, it's not so much about a quantity of turnovers, it's more the quality of turnovers. He said statistically an improvement for them might be 13 or 14, but the reality is he's more concerned about how many times did we unforced error give it away or just make a sloppy, silly mistake. If you make some aggressive mistakes and turn the ball over, sometimes things happen. It's okay. That's part of the game. Darius Garland spoke to that and said, look, I made a few good turnovers or a few that I would live with, but I certainly made some that weren't very good. He said, I'll go back and watch the tape and figure it out. I own it. And, we'll figure out a way to get better from it. Darius also thought that maybe the offense was a bit too stagnant early on. I think that's probably fair. I also thought they didn't do a very good job of getting a hand in Maxey's face after he erupted with a bunch of threes right away in the first quarter, and a couple of those were wide open. Darius thought they turned it up defensively quite a bit after the first quarter, which I would agree with, but obviously you got to figure out a way to come out with that kind of intensity anyways. And then I guess the last thing, Caris and Darius both spoke to how challenging it was to have, frankly, such a long layoff between games because you play your first preseason game last Friday and you played tonight. I mean, that's a 3 or 4 day turnaround. They're going to have a similar one when it comes to the final game of this preseason on Friday down in Orlando, turned up to a trip to Toronto to open up the regular season, not till Wednesday. I guess it would be 4 days in between, 5 days game to game. And they both said, look, it can be a little challenging at times to get up for a preseason game because you're trying to find that balance of what am I working on and what am I trying to accomplish versus, hey, I'm a competitor and I want to go win and we get a chance to play a game tonight. And I think you've heard the cliche 1,000 times at this point that obviously the preseason games, quote unquote, don't matter when it comes to the win-loss column. So, I think the players feel a little bit of that, and those guys are trying to find ways to be productive, but recognize that it's tough to mentally get yourself as locked in as you really need to be for the start of the preseason games. So those are the biggest takeaways. They also said the beat test must be working because the conditioning was fine. Both Caris and Darius said that physically they feel pretty good after the game was over, and their legs held up pretty well. So those are the big takeaways here from tonight. Again, final score 113-97. Cavaliers dropped the second consecutive preseason game to the Philadelphia 76ers. They will be back in action here at home on Wednesday against the Atlanta Hawks. Then they'll wrap up the preseason on Friday when they make a trip down to Orlando. I'm Brendan Gulick. Thanks for hanging with us tonight on Cavs Insider. We hope you'll make this a regular stop. Please check out the Cavs Insider Daily Podcast. We'll have lots more coverage coming for you this week over on CavsInsider.com.